السيدات والسادة، نكرر الترحيب بكم في المنتدى السعودي للإعلام الذي اعتاد في كل دورة أو في كل عام أن يشرك السلك الدبلوماسي في المملكة العربية السعودية. والحقيقة تشرفنا في أكثر من دورة بحضور بعض السفراء لمناقشة بعض المواضيع ذات العلاقة بين الدبلوماسية والإعلام. نشكر أصحاب السعادة السفراء الذين تفضلوا بالاستجابة لدعوتنا اليوم، وأرجوكم أن ترحبوا معي بسعادة السفير ضياء الدين بامخرمة، سفير جمهورية جيبوتي وعميد السلك الدبلوماسي في المملكة العربية السعودية، وأيضا سعادة السفير روبرت روستيك سفير جمهورية بولندا، سعادة السفير ياسوناري مورينو سفير اليابان، وسعادة السفير سهيل إعجاز خان سفير جمهورية الهند، وأيضا سعادة السفير نيل كرومتون سفير المملكة المتحدة. الحقيقة نود أن ندخل مباشرة الموضوع استثمارا للوقت. يعني كما تشاهدون موضوع الجلسة اليوم هو الدبلوماسية والإعلام، جسور التواصل بين الثقافات. وبالتالي نحن نتحدث عن ثلاثة عناصر: الدبلوماسية والثقافة والإعلام. فأود أن أبدأ. Welcome, Mr. Ambassadors. Our discussion will be, bilingual. Mr. Ambassador Diyaddin, although he is a trilingual, but he prefers to speak in Arabic. Thank you so much. سعادة السفير، يعني منذ التسعينات وعندما تم تدشين مصطلح القوة الناعمة الذي تفرع إلى فروع كثيرة، حتى أصبحنا الآن نتحدث عما يسمى بالدبلوماسية الثقافية. هل تلقي بعض الضوء على هذا المفهوم حتى يكون مدخلا لنا للنقاش في هذه الجلسة؟
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. حقيقة أنا جدا ممتن وسعيد بأن أشارك في هذا المنتدى الضخم والعظيم والمتنامي في كل عام، وأستثمر هذه المناسبة لأهنئ القائمين على هذا المنتدى، وأيضا تهنئة الأشقاء في المملكة العربية السعودية بذكرى يوم التأسيس الذي نحتفل به بعد الغد بإذن الله تعالى. حقيقة كما تفضلت دكتور حمود بأن الدبلوماسية الثقافية هو مصطلح حديث اليوم يأتي في إطار الدبلوماسية الحديثة إن صح التعبير، وهي الدبلوماسية العامة، وهو ركن ركين حقيقة في الدبلوماسية العامة. وبطبيعة الحال الدبلوماسية العامة تتفرع أو تتداخل مختلف قطاعاتها أو مختلف أفرعها إن صح التعبير أو مختلف مجالاتها في إطار ما تعرف بالقوة الناعمة. فالقوة الناعمة والدبلوماسية العامة، والذي قلنا من أن الدبلوماسية الثقافية جزء أو ركن ركين من أساساتها، تستهدف التواصل في مختلف المجالات والقطاعات الثقافية والفنية والفكرية واللغوية، وهي في الأخير تسويق لما يعرف بالقوى الناعمة، تسويق للدولة، تحسين صورتها، العمل لخدمة قضاياها السياسية والاقتصادية والتواصل الإنساني المختلف مع الشعوب المختلفة. وأغراضها حقيقة متعددة، لكنها في الأخير تخدم مصلحة الدولة. وإذا ما أخذنا وننتقل من نظري إلى العمل ونأخذ نماذج للدبلوماسية الثقافية إن صح التعبير، فعلى سبيل المثال عندما أنا آتي كسفير لأنظم معرضا ثقافيا أو حدثا فنيا أو مناسبة ثقافية، فهذه جزء من التواصل الثقافي والدبلوماسية الثقافية. على سبيل المثال زميلي سفير بولندا نظم قبل فترة وجيزة احتفالا فنيا لفرقة أوروبية، وهذا أيضا جزء من الدبلوماسية الثقافية. سفير اليابان على سبيل المثال نظم معرضا لأحد المسلسلات الكرتونية الشهيرة في اليابان، وهذا جزء من الثقافة أو الدبلوماسية الثقافية. بولفارد الرياض
نعم.
بولفارد الرياض أيضا، بولفارد وورد في الرياض على سبيل المثال، هذا جزء من الدبلوماسية الثقافية الهامة. فأنت تشاهد عديد من الدول التي تعرض منتجاتها الاقتصادية وفنونها وفولكلورها، وهذا أيضا جزء من الدبلوماسية الثقافية. إذن الدبلوماسية الثقافية قضية مهمة اليوم أصبحت في واقعنا المعاصر لنشر التواصل المعرفي. البعثات الدراسية أيضا هي جزء
صحيح.
مهم من الدبلوماسية الثقافية. ففي الخلاصة نستطيع أن نقول أن الدبلوماسية العامة اليوم هي الدبلوماسية الحديثة المتطورة لتخلق التواصل الإيجابي بين الشعوب والتعارف اللغوي والإنساني، وأصبحت الدبلوماسية الثقافية بمختلف قطاعاتها جزء مهم للتواصل
شكرا
الإنساني.
سعادة السفير على هذا المدخل وعلى هذه الإضاءة. Welcome Ambassador Robert. Probably in Poland they know Saudi Arabia, the first knew Saudi Arabia through the separation of the famous conjoined twins, right? So I think Dr. Abdullah Rabia is very popular in Poland, isn't it? So what I want to say that, we are just recently probably exposed to the culture of Poland, to your community, and probably the relationships are, compared to other countries, is rather new. Now we know you are very energetic, Mr. Ambassador. You are very active. So, if you want to introduce a new culture to any country, from your point of view, what will be your strategy for marketing or introducing such a culture? I want your experience, please.
Thank you so much. I can also use Arabic. أهلا وسهلا ولكن سيكون أسهل لي لغة إنجليزية regarding our colleagues.
That's great.
Thank you first of all for invitation, and thank you once again for interesting question. I mean, as you mentioned, Saudi Arabia, we are living in the new Saudi Arabia. So this is number one, and the Saudi Media Forum is another example why and how it's important to promote culture, diplomatic relation, and also the media. When I came here, I spent, there's no secret, I spent sometimes in the region, some calling me Khaliji. And one of the big targets for us, it was how to promote both countries, I mean Saudi Arabia and Poland. Of course, in same room, we had a conference with Dr. Rabia, who was a unique person regarding the special surgery for the Polish Siamese lady. It is a symbolical, let's say, event, and from the bottom of the heart of the Saudi Arabia and from the king. And now we have a different time, of course. And the good example is how I decided to promote Poland and Saudi Arabia. It was opening direct flights, first time in the history between two countries.
Okay.
Of course, I mean, some people, it was a big discussion, I mean, how to use this, not only to open flights, but how to use this new path in our relations, I mean, in order to bring both countries as close as possible. So I decided 6 months before opening to publish some information about the Polish cities with the pictures and some short information what is interesting and important in some places. I asked the mayors of some cities in Poland to send us what they would like to share. So you believe or not, we started such a promotion each month, I mean, approaching the date of opening direct flights. At the same time, I was publishing a lot of information in Saudi Arabia to be Saudi ambassador in Saudi Arabia. So till now, because we opened it 4th of June, direct flights, till now, we had 24,000 Saudis who travel to Poland.
Oh, that's quite impressive number.
Majority of them, they said that because of our pictures and because of our information we published in the social media, they decided to travel. So I think it was a very practical and very right way how to promote the
Thank
countries.
you, Mr. Ambassador. We'll get back to you. So now we'll move to our friend Ambassador Riyaz Sunari. Welcome again, Mr. Ambassador. We had a very great time in Tokyo just a few months ago, for the marvels of the Saudi orchestra. Probably it's the first time, such an event happened in Japan. And we noticed that we do have now many students in Japan for scholarships in many different specialties, we were not in the past, interested to send our students to Japan, but now, really, there is quite a good number over there. I would like you, Mr. Ambassador, to probably highlight such a scholarship program. How can that play a role in exposing each other cultures, and how that will be as a facilitator to understanding both nations. So what's your point of view, Mr. Ambassador, please?
Thank you very much for inviting me, and it's my great privilege to be here with you. And it is a very interesting question, and actually the exchange of the youth is one area I and my embassy has been focusing on for quite a long time. And well, we have a great culture, which Saudi people like very much, such as manga and anime, and that is very well received by Saudis, and that's how the Saudi people get curious about Japan and even visiting Japan now for tourism, economic, commercial purposes, etc. So education is also very important area for the youth to exchange, to visit other countries, to live their experience living there. So I definitely really want to promote education area. I mean, I want to really promote the Saudis visiting Japan for education purposes. I also would like to emphasize the point. I think you visited Japan to attend the concert of Saudi orchestra, and it was an excellent opportunity for Japanese people. How Saudi people now. This exchange, I think it is important to be mutual, and we now have more Japanese people visiting Saudi Arabia for tourism purposes, and youth also, I hope that there'll be more visits of Japanese youth visiting Saudi Arabia.
Sure, thank you very much, Mr. Ambassador. Now, if we move to Ambassador Suhail, of course, when we're talking about the Indian culture, it is in every corner on Earth, on the planet. We're talking about very ancient, civilization, a very rich culture, Bollywood, etc., etc., etc. My question, probably, Mr. Ambassador, how did India become successful in reaching every corner in the world? Did you use media, or you are relying on probably the Indian population in each country? What was the strategy that led to such a success that your culture is present everywhere? So could you please highlight on that? I mean, your experience is very impressive, so we need the audience really to know what were your strategy.
Thank you very much, firstly inviting me to this important forum, and it's a very interesting question, why Indian culture is so successful in being present across the world. There are various reasons, and it's a very natural phenomena. Our philosophy is based on the belief that the world is one family, what we call as Vasudev Kutumbakam, and that is with this approach that we approach our relations with all the countries in the world. Particularly with Saudi Arabia, I would say, one of the most important reasons why our culture is popular and at least known here, it is because of centuries old interaction between India and Saudi Arabia. And secondly, a presence of a huge Indian community here. Right now, we have about 2.6 million Indians living in Saudi Arabia, and they act as a living bridge between the two countries. While they adopt the local cultures, at the same time, they bring Indian culture for the Saudi friends. And, but at the same time, the structured activities also help a lot. And I remember India was the guest of honor in Janadriya festival in 2018.
Yes.
And it was a long festival. For 21 days, we had a lot of cultural tropes. We had a lot of art exhibitions. We also demonstrated yoga for the first time publicly. So it was a hugely successful, brought all the culture on one platform. Recently, Saudi Ministry of Media organized a very successful Global Harmony initiative, and under it they had a 9 days long Indian cultural festival, and again it was extremely popular with the Saudi friends and also our Indian community. So all these structured events also help us exposing each other with the culture. And also you have to see Indians are traveling to this part of the world in very, very large numbers. Last year, I think we had more than 1.5 million travelers coming from India, and similarly, a large number of our Saudi friends are going to India for business, for tourism, and all these interactions, I think,
Mr. Ambassador,
are very important for cultural exchange and cultural dissemination.
We'll get back to you, but we need to, we've been late for you, Mr. Ambassador, Ambassador Neil. When we talk about UK, obviously we are talking about the most spoken language in earth. Now, you have the British cultural centers. It is in many countries, and it's for quite a long time. Now, could you please tell us what's the philosophy behind these centers? You know, what are you trying to promote? Is it language? Is it the values? Is it the culture? And how did these centers, you know, being able to make stronger connections between the nations in which these centers are there? So just highlight, there are questions about, you know, why UK, you know, is spreading all these centers. So you can clarify that, please.
Thank you, Dr. Hamoud. It's a great pleasure to be here. It's a good question. Obviously, the UK was always an outward-facing country. You know, we visited many countries in the world, not always to their pleasure, but we remain, I think, very global in our outlook. And as you say, I think particularly in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, where English is the language of business and often the language of study for people, that, you know, contributes greatly to links between the two countries. And I think, sort of, when you, like your phrase, soft power, I think London is part of the soft power of the UK. I think it's, you know, one of the most international cities in the world where everyone feels welcome. You know, there's a good argument where does the summer capital of the Arab world lie in Knightsbridge or in St. John's Wood? I think there are so many people from the world. But so our cultural institutions have always looked outwards, and there are those that are sponsored by the government, like the British Council, which have a particular role in helping people study English, but also in exporting, in trying to bring, if you like, theatre or cultural institutions. But I think what we see increasingly in our relationship with Saudi Arabia, some of the other institutions, not just the universities, but museums, the Science Museum, the Victoria and Albert Museum, British Museum coming, trying to establish links with their Saudi counterparts. And I don't know if there's any particular plan to that. I think it's just we've always interacted with the world. You know, for the museums, they benefit from having links with Saudi museums. You can share exhibitions. You can share experience. You can learn from each other, and it's good business. I think it's good business for everyone.
Okay, great. نعود إليك مرة أخرى سعادة السفير ضياء. كما أسلفت يعني نحن نتحدث عن 3 عناصر: الدبلوماسية، الثقافة، والإعلام. في ظل يعني هذه الزحمة أو فلنقل الفوضى الموجودة في وسائل التواصل، أحيانا يكون هناك في يعني لأغراض مختلفة يعني لا تنقل ثقافة بلد بشكلها الإيجابي كما يجب، أو أحيانا يعني يتم عمدا تشويه بعض عادات وتقاليد وقيم وثقافات يعني بعض الشعوب يعني. فمن وجهة نظرك سعادة السفير يعني كيف نستطيع بشكل صحيح من خلال وسائل الإعلام أن ننقل هذه الثقافات وأن ننقل هذه القيم بين الشعوب بشكل صحيح ونتفادى الصور الغير صحيحة؟
وبطبيعة الحال عندما يراد المرء أو يريد المرء أن يوصل فكرته فيجب أن يفهم عقلية المتلقي
صحيح.
وطبيعة المتلقي
بالتأكيد.
وثقافة المتلقي.
نعم.
وهذا الأمر بطبيعته ينطبق على الإعلام. فكيف نوصل الإعلام؟ يعني عندما دولة ما تخاطب شعبها لابد أن هناك لغة مختلفة عن مخاطبة الخارج
الآخر
ومخاطبة الآخر، فلا بد من فهم هذه الجزئيات ولا بد من التعاطي والتعامل معها، بالذات فيما تفضلتم به من فوضى عارمة في مجال الإعلام إن صح التعبير، والتداخل ما بين الحقيقة وغير الحقيقة، الخبر الصادق والخبر غير الصادق، وأيضا المعلومات المتداخلة والثقافات المختلطة. يعني عندما ظهر الإنترنت على سبيل المثال قيل بأن العالم أصبح قرية.
نعم.
وعندما ظهرت الفضائيات قيل بأن العالم أصبح غرفة.
نعم.
اليوم العالم في جيبي وجيبك من خلال جهاز التليفون
صحيح.
وفي جيب
نعم.
كل امرئ. إذن كيف يمكن أن نتعامل مع الإعلام ونتعاطى معه، وكيف نتعاطى مع الأتموسفير أو المحيط حوالينا، وكيف يمكن لنا أن نوصل هذه الفكرة وهذا الرأي؟ هناك صراعات مختلفة، هذا الصراع يؤثر على هذاك الصراع، فيؤثر على الدبلوماسية، فيؤثر على حجم هذه الدولة، ثم كيف تكون هذه الدولة في محيطها ومكانتها. نعم، إن هناك أهمية كبرى أو هناك ترابط حقيقي بين مختلف عناصر الحياة. كانت دبلوماسية، وقلنا الدبلوماسية لم تعد الدبلوماسية التقليدية التي نعرفها، وإنما هناك الدبلوماسية العامة الحديثة التي هي متداخلة.
صحيح.
ثم هناك أمامنا أيضا معطيات الحياة الجديدة من تداخلات سياسية واقتصادية. في الأخير كل هذه تستهدف رأي وفكرة، ولا بد من صياغة الفكرة المناسبة ومعرفة كيف نخاطب الآخر وما هي الطريقة والوسيلة. يعني اليوم ستجد مثلا في المملكة على السوشيال ميديا إكس هو الأوسع انتشارا أو سناب شات، لكن ستأتي إلى جيبوتي مثلا بلدي سناب شات ليس واسع الانتشار، إنما فيسبوك وهلم جرى على البلاد الأخرى. إذن في هذه الوسيلة من وسائل التواصل الاجتماعي ماذا أستخدم وكيف أستخدم وما هي العقلية المتلقية وما هي الفكرة، فهذا عنصر مهم.
بمعنى يعني وضع استراتيجية مناسبة في الخطاب وللمجتمع الذي تخاطبه والوسيلة أيضا.
بالضبط، هذا هو وضع الاستراتيجية، ولكن هذه الاستراتيجية تأتي متوافقة بطبيعتها مع طبيعة الحياة المتغيرة والمتقدمة في كل يوم وفي كل لحظة.
جميل جميل. Ambassador Robert, now we see ambassadors are, putting a lot of energy for the economic collaboration programs, trade, finance, and so on. Most ambassadors are, just pressing on this side. Do we really give the same importance to the cultural issues and the embassies? What percent that constitute from your efforts, for example?
Another excellent question, and a hand on my heart. I still remember when I arrived.
Is it as important as economy and trade and finance and so on? Please.
The simple answer is yes.
Okay.
However, of course, our new role as a...
You are speaking theoretically. I need practically. Are you doing that?
I will give you the example.
Okay.
I mean, but I have to start with saying that we cannot discuss about diplomacy and economic cooperation like it was in the past.
Okay.
Let's say before social media. Because, you know, in our structure, it was a person responsible strictly for economic cooperation, so-called Counselor for Trade. But these days, you cannot separate economic cooperation with political cooperation. Culture is very unique and very important subject. My wife is always pushing me to organize as many as possible culture events. And I still remember my first meeting with our big friend, the Dean of the Diplomatic Corps, and he was encouraging me to organize such events. 2 weeks back, answering your question, we organized one of the biggest concerts in the Culture Palace, middle of DQ and middle of Riyadh, as Poland is leading the EU presidency at the Council of European Union for the 6 months. And I decided to invite one of the very famous Polish pianists, Mr. Wojciech Waleczek, who was playing not only Chopin, but he was playing piece. I cannot say each 27 members of the European Union.
Okay.
However, he was playing half of them.
All right.
So it was
kind of symbolic.
Yes, but in the same time, you know better than me how it's difficult still to encourage people to spend, let's say, 1 or 2 hours on the such a culture events. But I was extremely happy, you know, seeing a lot of people very happy to hear first such a performance. And they asked me immediately when will be another concert. So I think it's an excellent confirmation that we have to organize as many as possible such events. And this is the I'm calling culture bridge between 2 countries and 2 nations. And of course, I mean, this is also important. I don't want to say that like economic cooperation, because in economic cooperation, you can see almost immediately your results. Why during the culture events, it takes time, you know, to bring two nations and the people, I mean, as close as possible. But definitely is very important. And
great.
And we are doing more and more.
Okay, that's good. That's good. So if we move to again to Ambassador Yasunari, my question to you, Mr. Ambassador, is now if we talk about the factor of language, you know, the language barrier, let's say, you know, sometimes it's an obstacle in cultural understanding, in understanding others' cultures, in you know, being exchanging our each cultures, you know. Now, if we think about how, first of all, how can we overcome this obstacle? Secondly, what about translation? You know, for example, we know now, you know, some of the Japanese authors, poets, and so on and so forth. The translation programs, you know, between the languages, you know, to what extent you think that could promote each other cultures? You know? And does embassy do some efforts in this respect, or it's just left to other authorities?
Shukran jazila. I studied Arabic myself, but
good.
Anyway, it's a very
next
interesting
time we'll
question.
speak Arabic.
It's a very interesting question. We have quite a sizable community in Saudi Arabia who can speak very good Japanese, and some of them really are capable of working as translators. So very often, our embassy and Japanese companies, Japanese organizations, they count on their support in terms of translation works. That's one thing. And also, on the other hand, in Japan, we have many young people who are interested in learning Arabic. It's quite interesting. I mean, there are some universities who have Arabic language courses, Arabic language degrees, And so I think there is good mutual exchange of language training, language skills between Japan and the Arab world. That's one thing. About the translation, I think there are, of course, a lot of Arabic documents, Arabic contents, while we have Japanese contents, documents. There are many efforts to do this, to share these contents between the two worlds, to Arab world and Japan.
Okay.
Embassy, of course, supports these efforts, and we are always trying to network with this Saudi community who are capable of Japanese language skills. At the same time, we are also keep contact with Japanese people who have capability.
Great, thank you very much, Mr. Ambassador. We are really squeezed of time. I would give 2 minutes for Ambassador Suhail, 2 minutes for Ambassador Neil Crompton. There is no question. I'll just leave the floor for you. Each one of you, I want to hear their opinions. How could we end up with a better understanding between nations through the channel of culture? What do you think we should do more and more in this regard? You know, being a diplomat, dealing with media, dealing with the cultural authorities in your countries. How could we even strengthen these kind of understanding and relationships? Please.
Yeah, thank you. I'll actually like to address the question you put to Ambassador Robert.
Okay.
What is more important, cultural diplomacy or economic diplomacy?
Okay.
I think cultural diplomacy sets the context.
Okay.
And once there is a cultural exchange, there is a cultural familiarity, it generates goodwill, it generates familiarity. And the possibility of anyone doing business with someone with whom they have a familiarity, they have a good feeling about, is definitely more. So the cultural diplomacy really sets the context on which the whole relationship can be built, whether it is economic diplomacy or other political interactions and everything. The other thing on the media, I think we are all, as diplomats, are now conscious about the new age media, which is a quick media, social media, and it is very important for all of us as diplomats, as embassies, to engage with our host countries, our audience, through these medium. And this is the age where, you know, more than journalists, we are looking for influencers. We are looking for podcasters, bloggers, and it is important for all of us to be engaged with them so that we can convey our message to the host countries and to our larger audience. And we in our embassy, we pay a lot of attention to social media. We are very active on Twitter, on Facebook, on various modes of social media, and it really helps convey our message to the larger audience.
Great. The floor is yours, Ambassador Neil.
Thank you, and I agree with what my colleague just said. I think, you know, as diplomats, we try to manage the government relationship. We also know the people-to-people relationship is what really brings countries together. So, you know, I think we just need to do more of that, make it easier. I've seen our relationship flourish in recent years. It became very easy to get a visa to come to Saudi Arabia as tourists. I think Brits are the second highest number of people who come. Ditto going to the UK. We've had 600,000 Saudis visit the UK on our visa system in the last 2 years. We have 15,000 Saudi students in the UK. Those people make friends. They come, they understand the culture. And from that flows business, sporting links. People feel happy with it. Like you go to Newcastle in the UK, everyone wants to talk about Saudi Arabia. So I think just making it easier for people to visit, removing those bureaucratic obstacles, and the friendship flows. And I think when people feel closer to each other, you have less problems in the world.
Thank you very much. We wish if you could have more time, because the subject is really rich and it needs really more and more discussion, but unfortunately that's the whole time, given to us. I really thank you very much, all of you, Your Excellencies, for being with us in Saudi Media Forum. And باسمكم جميعا نشكر أصحاب السعادة السفراء على حضورهم وعلى هذا النقاش والطرح والإضاءات الثرية. We'll hope to see you, inshallah, in the next edition of Saudi Media Forum. Again, thank you so much for being with us. Thank you, Ambassador.
Thank you.